So what if I told you that most golfers really struggle creating the power and accuracy that they should be getting from their golf swing because they swing the club like this, and even with a great strike, it's that high left to right shape, only going 132 yards. But if you work on, just for a few minutes, what I'm going to talk about now, we're going to change that shot into something more like this. Something straighter that travels 25, say 30 yards further, but a much better quality golf shot. Now I know what you're thinking, surely a few minutes working on my golf swing, I can't make such a change like that when I've worked on my swing for years. I'm probably still hitting the same kind of shot that you've been hitting for as long as you can remember. But what I'm going to talk about is how a little change in your backswing is really going to allow you to use the lower body correctly to deliver the club on a much better path, get that club face squarer, and get much more energy from the club head into the ball and get us that distance on the shot. Sounds great, doesn't it? So let's talk about the first swing and the mistake I see with golfers. So if I make that swing again, from a decent setup, and I think a lot of golfers nowadays set up very well to the golf ball, they'll make this swing. And that one wasn't as good a strike as the first one. Still 130 yards carry. But the key there is the path's minus 14 and the face is plus 7.8. So what does that mean TrackMan numbers wise? So basically what that means is that the minus number for the path is the club's working out to in 14 degrees and the club face was 7.8 degrees open. So it creates a very kind of glancing blow through impact. And if we were to look at that golf swing, what we would have seen on the way back is that as the body was turning, the club whipped way on the inside, kind of very stuck. I have to lift my arms, and then the arms start the downswing. We throw the club out, and then if I close the club face, it's a big pull. But most golfers leave the club towards the target, and they get that glancing blow. And in my opinion, most golfers struggle with that start of the takeaway because they're trying to swing the club from the inside. Now, what does swinging the club from the inside mean? If we're stood this side of the golf ball, and that's the ball's target line down there, if the club's approaching in the downswing, from my side of the line, that's the inside, and if it's approaching from outside the line, that's out to in. But most golfers are obsessed on the downswing with trying to get the club in here, but they create it by, as the body turns, whipping the club inside. Now, the first thing we see from there is there's nowhere for my arms to go, so my arms would have to lift. The problem now is I've got to get back down to the golf ball, and that's where the arms move first. But we know the better players in the world do it a little bit differently in the way back, so that as they start the downswing, the lower body moves, the arms can drop down, and then they can deliver the club on a completely different line. So what we're going to talk about is how we start the initial part of that takeaway without actually doing anything different with the body. So we still want the body to feel that it's starting to turn away. But when golfers try and whip the club inside, we see how my hands move out and the handle of the club actually moves higher. Now that is a death position for the golf swing. If we're there on the backswing, we're in trouble because there's lots of compensatory movements to make. So what we want you to feel is that from there, we're still going to let the body turn, but you're then going to push down on the handle. And as you push down, the hands move more in a straight line back and the club head moves up. Now that's a very, very different position and a much safer position to get the club passing through. Then from there, I can continue to turn from the top. Now I've got some room that my body can shift towards the target and I can swing down and through. So I always talk about with golfers, when you're making a change, if you try to do it at full speed, I think it can be incredibly hard to get a feel for it and get the timing. So I would do a couple of practice swings a little slower than normal, really focus on pushing that handle down at the start of the backswing. That felt good. And straight away, golfers will say how it feels like there's loads more room to swing their arms into. And then I would just simply say, I don't care what the strike and the direction's like to begin with. I want to really focus on the process and making a good movement. So again, focus on pushing that handle down as my body starts to turn. Now, even though that was a good solid strike, and we can see there my low point's ahead, my path is now 0, which is dead straight. The club face was a little bit open at 1.7 degrees, but straight away 145 carry with less speed. And I always talk about with golfers, don't obsess about that initially. The changes we're making are trying to improve the result. But I think golfers get so focused on the ball that in the practice swing, they'll do the movement really well. And then because they're just obsessed with trying to hit the golf ball, they don't focus on the movement. And then you just see the old swing again and the old shape of shot reappears. And I think this is the most obvious reason why golfers don't actually change and get better, because even though there's a lot of information out there, and they'll talk about whatever it is they're working on in their golf swing. So for this, it's about getting that handle down as we start the downswing, the backswing. They'll make that move great, and that's perfect. And they'll make those movements and say it feels really, really simple to do. And yet as soon as the golf ball's there, they're obsessed about good contact, making the ball go a long way. Make the movement as good as you can. And if the movement's good, the beauty with golf is it's a stationary ball sport, and that ball's not going to move till that club hits it. So the better your movement and the better you deliver the golf club, the result will take care of itself. So once you've done a few practice swings, feeling that that's good, we're going to go one more slightly slower one. One didn't feel quite as good on the backswing, but we can see there the path was a little bit more out to in, club face slightly open, but a much better shot. So definitely for me there, I was a smidge quicker, but as I was a little bit quicker, and this is partly my little challenge in my swing, the club just starts to work a little bit more behind me. So I'm really going to focus on pushing down as I put a bit more speed in. That felt exactly what I was trying to do in the backswing. Now we can see there, 84 mile an hour, low point ahead, club path 3 degrees out to in, club face very square at 0.3 degrees closed, and 162 yards carry. So straight away that felt very, very exaggerated on the way back. I know it was nothing like that on the way back, but that's the feel for me. But once I'm there, I can move my body towards the target and the club just follows the body. Let's do one more, focusing on really pushing that handle down. I felt exactly what I wanted on the backswing. And we can see there, 83.7 mile an hour club speed, 2.8 inches ahead, club path 1 degree out to in, club face under a degree open to a very straight shot and 162 yards carry. But if you want to start using the lower body more efficiently in the downswing to get your sequence correct so that from the top we move lower body, then hips, then torso, then arms, then club finally, just like the best players in the world do, maybe, just maybe, you need to be working on that initial part of the backswing, pushing that handle down so that the club's moving first. So it's a reverse kind of sequence backswing to downswing. And if you can get that right, you're going to start delivering the club better than ever, more powerfully than ever, and hitting the longer, straighter shots of your life.